The year was 1945, and World War II was nearing its end. Claire Randall, a dedicated combat nurse, moved swiftly through a makeshift battlefield hospital, tending to wounded soldiers. Blood and the scent of antiseptics filled the air, but amid the chaos, a messenger arrived with a long-awaited announcement the war was over. A collective sigh of relief swept through the room. 6 months later, Claire found herself in the Scottish Highlands with her husband, Frank Randall, embarking on a second honeymoon in Inverness, an attempt to rebuild their life after years of separation. During the war, Claire had been stationed in France, while Frank worked in London with MI6, sending spies into enemy territory. Their journey led them to a quaint bed and breakfast where they noticed an eerie tradition of blood smeared on doorways. Their landlady, Mrs. Baird, explained it was an old ritual honoring Saint Audran, meant to keep spirits at bay. Frank, a historian, eagerly recounted the legend, impressing Mrs. Baird. She warned them about the upcoming Samhain festival, a time when ghosts were said to roam freely. That night, as rain tapped against the windows, Claire pondered the distance that had grown between her and Frank. 5 years apart had made it difficult to fall back into their old rhythm. They tried to rekindle their connection, laughing as they bounced on their squeaky bed. Frank admitted that during the war, he often traced the lines of her hand in his mind, missing her presence. The next day, they explored the Highlands, driving through rolling green hills. Frank pointed out Cocknaban Rock, shaped like a rooster's tail, and explained its significance as an ambush site for Scottish rebels. Claire listened, entertained by his enthusiasm for history, reminiscing about the archaeological digs she had joined with her uncle in her youth. Their travels led them to Castle Leoch, the ancestral home of the Mackenzie clan, and later, to Reverend Wakefield, who helped Frank research his ancestor, Jonathan Randall, a notorious British captain from the 18th century known as Black Jack. While at the Reverend's house, Claire met Mrs. Graham, the housekeeper, who read her palm. The woman spoke of an unusual journey, strangers, and 2 marriages. Though Claire laughed it off, a shiver ran down her spine at the thought of her marriage line not being fully intact. Meanwhile, Frank learned more about Black Jack, discovering he had a ruthless reputation and possible connections to the Duke of Sandringham. That night, Frank witnessed something unsettling. As he walked back to the inn, he saw a man in a kilt staring up at Claire's window. When Frank approached, the figure vanished into the mist. Rushing to their room, he told Claire what he had seen. She dismissed it, but the unease lingered. The following morning, before dawn, the couple climbed the hill at Cranadun, a circle of ancient standing stones, to witness a ritual. Cloaked women, including Mrs. Graham, danced in the rising mist, performing a ceremony for Samhain. Once they left, Claire and Frank explored the site. Claire, drawn to a particular plant, decided to return later to collect it. Alone at Cranadun, Claire reached for the plant, but as her fingers brushed the central stone, a deafening noise surrounded her. The world tilted, and darkness swallowed her whole. She awoke to the sound of gunfire. Disoriented, Claire stumbled onto a battle between redcoats and kilted Scots. At first, she thought she had wandered onto a film set until a bullet nearly struck her. Fleeing, she found herself face to face with a man who looked exactly like Frank. Relief turned to terror when he introduced himself as Captain Jonathan Randall of His Majesty's 8th Dragoons. Claire barely had time to process the situation before Randall grabbed her, demanding to know who she was. When she spat in his face, he struck her. But before he could do more harm, a Scottish soldier knocked him unconscious and ordered Claire to follow. As she tried to resist, he knocked her out cold. When she awoke, Claire found herself among Highlanders, led by Dougal Mackenzie. Suspicions ran high, but she managed to avoid revealing her connection to Frank. Soon, attention turned to a wounded Marna Jamie Fraser. His shoulder was dislocated, and Claire, horrified by the crude attempts to reset it, stepped in. With practiced hands, she set the bone, earning Jamie's gratitude and the Highlanders' wariness. As they rode through the misty landscape, Claire began to grasp the impossible truth that she was no longer in the 20th century. The castle she had visited in ruins now stood intact. She was in 1743. Dougal made it clear she was not free to leave. When they reached Castle Leoch, Claire was introduced to Mrs. Fitz, a kind but firm woman who immediately took charge. While tending to Jamie's wounds, Claire noticed the scars covering his back. He shared his harrowing past, beaten by redcoats under Randall's orders after trying to protect his sister. Though painful to recount, he lightened the mood with humor, making Claire feel strangely at ease. Later, Colm Mackenzie, the castle's laird, summoned Claire. Despite his warm demeanor, his sharp mind missed nothing. He questioned her origins, and she carefully wove a half-truth about being a widow lost in the Highlands. He offered to arrange her transport to Inverness, though Claire suspected she was under careful watch. In the following days, Claire attempted to blend in, helping with healing duties while secretly planning her escape. She befriended Gilles Duncan, a woman well versed in herbs and whispered rumors. Claire's skills soon proved invaluable when she saved a boy from a supposed demonic possession, diagnosing his illness as poison from a plant at the Black Kirk. Defying Father Bain, she administered an antidote, earning the clan's admiration and the priest's ire. One evening, Jamie translated a song for Clara, a tale of a woman who vanished through the standing stones, lived among strangers, and then returned home. The realization struck Hero: if the woman in the song found her way back, so could she. A new determination took root. She would escape Castle Leoch, return to Craigh na Dun, and find her way home, no matter the cost.